Well, how's my hair? Let's take a look. All right, there we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Let me get this a little closer to me, and that way you don't have to stare at the outside window and the door. There we go. Welcome. Good evening. And for those of you who are the first time here, really happy you found us. I hope you end up being happy that you found us. If you're watching this in the replay, thank you so much for that. Make sure you check out and run the chat. I have some of the best chatters that there are on YouTube, and they keep themselves entertained with a lot of good information. So we are working, and we're one chapter behind the schedule on the thumbnail, but we're working on Ted Riley's "Prepare Your Home for a Sudden Grid Down Situation." Tonight we're going to be doing chapter 5, which is long-term solutions lighting. Fantastic book. I really like it. I think you should buy it. There will be a link for it at my Amazon store in the description down below. Get a copy of it. Read it. I think you'll enjoy it. You'll be better off for doing it. Don't forget that tomorrow night is the last Thursday of the month. So we're going to be doing our review of Jeff Kirkham and Jason Ross's Black Autumn. This is the book that they loosely based the movie Homestead off of. It's a lot better than the movie was. As always, books are a lot better. So I finished reading this one October 6th of 23. And but it's a great book. I strongly recommend it. Look, let's be honest about fiction post SHTF books, okay? I know you're going to hear people say, my book provides an everything solution for you. None of them do. If they did that, they would be nonfiction, which is what we're doing tonight, which is providing, step by step, this is what you need to do. These are the things you need to take into consideration. Every author has their intentions, their specialties, and their location. You've got Kirkham and Ross are in Salt Lake City. You've got who's the one we just did that? Graham. Graham's also in the Salt Lake City area, and fantastic author. He is a little bit more towards the type stuff than these guys are. These guys are more towards interpersonal relationships, politics, as far as reestablishing a place, which is kind of where Stephen C. Smith is in his books on the Stonemont series. He's got 7 of them out now. That's primarily focused in Kansas, okay? So each author has different things. If you really want to get into who has the best list of gear, what you have to do is you have to keep a 4x6 or a 5x8 card in here, write down the things as they happen. I would say probably the biggest list of gear that I have found is from Chris Weatherman, a American, and in his series, the Survivor series. It all takes place down in Florida. I mean, he gets into foraging, he gets into weapons, he gets into everything. So I think, that's going to give you the best list of gear if that's what you're looking for and how to use it. Gosh, who else? James Wesley Rawls does a great job. He's primarily going from Arizona up to Idaho is the location. His is kind of a bug out or getting home story using bug out equipment. But anyhow, so these guys are good at this is a very good book for what they intended to be, which is understanding the personal psychological things that happen in a post-war, post-apocalyptic scenario. So for that, it's fantastic. Book 2, Travelers, which is what I'm reading right now, gets a little bit down more into the nitty-gritty because it's basically about how everybody gets to the homestead. So, but all of them are fantastic. I haven't come across, there's only one author so far that I really don't care for that much as far as the fiction preparedness stuff. And it gets more into science fiction type stuff. I mean, there's ghouls and zombies and things like that. And I don't care for that. I prefer where I can take notes and have something applicable that I can use to teach me secrets that I didn't know before on how I'm going to survive in a post-apocalyptic world. So, chapter 5, longer term solutions. It's a couple minutes after. Hopefully everybody is here. I met a nice lady in the parking lot of Walmart today. She had on a Gonzalez t-shirt. For those of you who don't know, that's the one where it shows the cannon on the front and says, "Come and take it." Believe it or not, there was a lot more study of philosophy and history back in the 1800s. And so the Texicans, as they were called back then, did understand Molan Labe, which was what basically Leonidas told the Persian Xerxes when they said they'd lay down their arms and they could live. And so Leonidas replied, Molan Labe, come and take them. Actually, it's come take in Greek. But anyhow, so the Texicans understood that, and they just translated it into English and put a canon on it. It says, come and take it. And so that was part of the Texas Revolution in 1836. By the way, that we just celebrated the celebration, basically the Feast of the Alamo. That was just concluded March 13th of this year. I think it's 13th. But anyhow, there was it 13th? Oh, gosh, now I got my mind wondering what it was. I know March 6th is Texas Independence Day, but I think it's March 13th was Alamo Day. That's the morning they woke up and the siege ended. Okay, so longer term solutions. If you have an independent energy system, you'll be able to keep your lights working. Yes, under certain conditions. And like I told you, I have 24 panels. I have a 3,000 megawatt hour, a 3,000 watt hour battery backup. So 3 kilowatt hour, there we go, battery backup. So I'm pretty well set up. However, if it's got ice over your panels, cloudy conditions, we've got rain for the next 4 days. They say that we should receive enough rain to take us out of drought conditions. With that cloud cover, I'm not going to produce any solar. So if the sun's not up at night, you don't produce any solar. So you're totally dependent upon the battery. So I keep telling you, to everything there is a positive and a negative. So the negative to solar is the fact that the sun goes down, the fact that there are rainstorms, that there are ice storms, there are all kinds of different things that don't allow those sun's rays to hit your system. And so you're going to have to make plans. What are you going to do when the rain don't shine? Backup lighting solutions. Yeah, he starts off with oil lamps and lanterns. By the way, I have all of these listed for you on my Amazon store in the comments down below. Not in the comments, in the description. All the items I'm going to show you, there are Amazon links too. And then there's one or two I couldn't find, and I had to reorder them, so they'll be here tomorrow. I'll show them to you tomorrow. The first is he recommends getting a Feuerhand storm lantern. So do I. So storm lanterns, the Feuerland is German. It's stainless steel. This bottom, when you fill it up with either butane, kerosene, paraffin, or lamp oil, typically has a duration of around 22 hours burn time. So you have to fill it up every once in a while. I have 3 of these. Because I don't intend to run any one continuously. Make sure when you order it that you also order extra wicks. If you notice in my weekly haul videos, you'll probably see maybe once every 3rd month, I get another package of wicks in for my lanterns because I realize that's the part that's going to go. I have 2 different, I have kerosene that I use for the lantern. I also have lantern oil. I don't like the liquid paraffin. And he points it out here too. Liquid paraffin, when it burns, has a little bit of an odor, in my opinion. He says it has a major odor. He doesn't like it at all. I can live with it. I've got the 110-hour lamps that are with liquid paraffin. They do great for lighting. You get 6 of them for around $45, and each one's 110 or 115 hours. Beautiful little oil, little paraffin lamps, and they're really great. I like those. First thing we have to remember is anytime you're using a flame, make sure you have a fire extinguisher, make sure you have a carbon monoxide detector. So my carbon monoxide detector is right here, right on top of my Geiger counter. So, keep a carbon monoxide detector around at all times if you're going to have an open flame. Oops. Well, everything fell behind the ECBOC. So now I got to crawl under there tomorrow and get it. Or tonight, because that was my Geiger counter. Anyhow, so he prefers to use the clear lamp oil. I do too. Butane is number 2. And so, go with that. He prefers the larger lamps. I have 2 small ones and 1 large one. The large one is like $60. Okay. The smaller ones are like $45 each. And these are the steel ones. You can get at Costco, or not at Costco, at Walmart, you can get a $12 lamp. It's plastic. I don't know. Some people have told me that they have them and they leak a little bit. They're afraid of a fire danger. I don't know. I have not used one, so I really can't tell you one way or the other. But I do know that Firehand which is Firehand, is a very reputable company. They've been in business over 100 years. As with most things, if you want good quality, it's going to cost you a little bit more. So I strongly recommend it. Let me see if Gil says anything about his preferred lantern. I'm sure Gil has a couple lanterns and some oil, a preferred oil as well. So I'm hoping he'll put that in the, hoping he'll put his comment about that in the comment in the chat. I don't see anything yet. No. Okay. Then he talks about propane lanterns. Propane lanterns, you can use the clear oil. That's no problem. No, wait a minute. The propane lanterns he's talking about are like the Coleman propane lanterns. Where we used to put in liquid white gas and pump it up, or it can be powered by propane, either one. And make sure you have plenty of mantles, extra mantles for those. I used to have a Boy Scout. When I was in Boy Scouts, I had a Coleman lantern. You put the white gas in it, and then you pumped it up to get pressure, and then you had to light the mantle. If you moved it, touched it for some reason after you blew it out, if you touched it, that mantle was pure charcoal, and you touched it and it just disintegrated. You'd have to go with a new mantle. But if you left it still, okay, you could light it, reuse it. But that was you're fairly lucky to get anything. Talks about candles. I'll go into great depth about candles. He prefers the taller church candles. I think he's talking about these, the religious candles. If you go back to my weekly haul videos, 2-3 years ago, I was getting one of these a week at the dollar store. They're only $1. Fantastic candles. They burn quite a bit. Probably Amazon delivering to my front door. Notification ring. Come on, ring. No, it's a rabbit running across the yard. Okay. LED lanterns, they're great. Just remember, you got the battery power's got to come from somewhere. I'll show you 1 or 2 here in just a couple minutes. Then he talks about battery operated lighting, chemical light sticks, these glow sticks. I really, I prefer the blue light, the green light. I don't like the red light because that's what we used in the military, so that you couldn't be seen. But the glow sticks are great. I would give these kids to use, not necessarily for adults. One of the bad things about the lights, chemical light sticks, they don't have an ON OFF switch. All they have is an ON switch. So once you break them, they're going to burn. And half an hour, 20 minutes, I don't know, depending upon the which one you get, how long they are, all those different kinds of things. They're a great addition to have. They're great to have around. I'm going to say that they're probably better for kids than they are for adults. And that's pretty much the chapter. So let's see what I've got here for you as far as show and tell. So let's start off. I showed you the lantern, which was great. Let's get into candles real quick. So there are a couple candles that I strongly recommend. This is called the Uko Candelier. And so it has 3 candles in it. These are the paraffin candles that I have in this one, the three burner candle. Each one of these paraffin candles will burn for 9 hours. So if you got all 3 of them in there, you're going to get a pretty good light source. It does have a top that they say you can set a coffee cup on or something like that and use it to warm your coffee. It's not going to cook, but it will warm. Okay. You can get I probably have a dozen boxes of candles, Uko candles. You can get the 9-hour. You can get the 9-hour paraffin. You can get the 12-hour beeswax. You can also get citronella candles, which would be great if you plan on doing anything outdoors. This is the one I keep next to my bed. It's a single burner. It's a beeswax candle. So this one will go for 12 hours. So we have a single burner for each room, and then we have 2 3 burners, one for the living room and one for the dining room. Of course, we have the tall religious candles that I strongly recommend. Those are, I think they've gone up in price to $1.25 or something like that. From something standard, Azure Standard, I get their beeswax candles, which is great. That'll do you good. You can also, at any dollar store, you can find the emergency candles. These are 6 for $6. Oh no, these were a couple bucks, $1.30, something like that. 6 6-hour candles. So 36 hours worth of candles for not very much money. Stock up on these. I've got, gosh, my stack of these is probably 18 inches high. Get to that later. Okay, so those are candles. Now then, if you take a look at my weekly Prepper Pantry haul videos, you're going to see that I quite often end up having extra wicks, or, whether it be there are 3 different types, and there's also the wood wicks. Now, there are 3 different types of candles that are made. There's paraffin candles, there's soy candles, and there's beeswax candles. So this is my paraffin melting pot. Let's see if I can get it where you can see the P. I mark them with a Marks-a-Lot, okay? So I have PP, that means I only melt paraffin in this one. I have one that says SS, and that's only soy. And then the third one is B, and that's only beeswax. So that way I try to keep all of my consistency as far as used candles. Now, this is all soy, but what we do is we, at the end of a candle, when it gets down to the bottom, we will freeze that candle, okay? It's a lot easier to get these out by freezing it than it is by melting it, okay? Freeze it, and then once you get it frozen, then you can take just a butter knife and go down and break it into 2 or 3 chunks, and it'll come right out. So these are all the leftovers. This is one jar of all of the leftovers of candles. So I can now melt these and make a new candle out of these with the wicks that I have. So that's going to transition us into another discussion. So I have 3 of these. I bought 3 of these candle making kits. So one is beeswax, one is soy, and one is paraffin, for the same reason, so that I have consistency in how I'm doing that. And then I do have probably 10 pounds of soy and 10 pounds of beeswax that I can use to make candles with. But I don't buy wax intentionally unless it's really on a good sale. The way I look at it is I'm going to primarily be remaking candles from old wax than I am spending money on new wax. If I'm going to spend money right now, I'm going to spend money on a candle, not on stuff to make candles, because I can burn these down and use the residuals from it to make a new candle a lot cheaper than buying all the components to try to make them. That's something else. Paraffin, you can get this Gulf wax in most grocery stores, in Walmart. In Walmart, it's over with the baking stuff and canning stuff, because this is primarily used in canning. I also use this to make my Boy Scout stoves. So I use this for Boy Scout stoves, for canning, as well as for candles when necessary. So here's another one. And please do me a favor. Don't buy something as a substitute. Don't buy parts to do a substitute for the original. Okay. When we say that there are substitutions, it's when something goes bad. So there are videos out there that say make your emergency candles by buying a big can of Crisco, and then you stick a candle down inside the middle of the Crisco, and as the candle burns, the Crisco is being used as a source of fuel for that candle. Great. Only do that. I keep knocking stuff off. I got way too much stuff here I want to show you. Only do that with stale Crisco. Don't buy new Crisco with the intention of making a long-term candle. If your Crisco has gone bad, use your Crisco first for frying. Then, once it goes bad, once it goes rancid, then you want to use a candle to turn it into a long-term candle. Okay, does that make sense? So don't buy stuff. If you're going to use rancid Crisco, that's great. Just don't go out and buy new Crisco to try to make a candle, a long-term candle. I'd rather you see you buy those 115-hour paraffin candles. They're a lot smaller, easier to manipulate. Not so many good things about them. Okay. This is another one. Okay. So this is a kit, and there's a link for it down in the description down below. But this is a kit to take your old stale vegetable oil or olive oil or anything like that, pour it into a mason jar. Then this has the wicks that go through the top of the cap, and it has the cap that you can still put on top of it. Then you can light it, and that becomes an old stale or rancid oil candle using a mason jar. So that's another opportunity for you. But don't go out and buy expensive olive oil to pour into a mason jar to use as a lamp. Okay, so that should pretty much catch us up with all of the candle stuff. Okay, one of the things I also want in lighting, we also have to discuss lack of lighting. You don't want people to know what you're doing inside your house, so make sure you get blackout curtains. Okay, I have a set of blackout curtains for every window. We've got 4 windows here and the door. So this is going to be our blackout area. At night, we don't want people knowing that we have stuff, okay? Candles, food, water, all that kinds of stuff. So I put the blackout curtains up. Nobody knows we're here at night, okay? Let me catch up. Well, thank you. Triple G Farms is here. Thank you, Pete. Thank you for that recommendation. Let me see. Ficgtion, that was interesting and fun. Let me see. Oh, wow, Gil, way to go. Yeah, cashing in on those. Our church, so I'm Catholic, usually it has been that we always used blessed beeswax candles, which is why I have this one, okay? It's a blessed beeswax candle. But anyhow, so that's basically what we use. But I found out that here at the church that I attend here, they have candles, and it has a little space up top where they put alcohol in it. And so it's actually kind of like an alcohol. Oh, no, not alcohol, but it's maybe it's propane or butane or something. They put a flammable liquid in there, and that's the candle that they use here at this church. So, but it's kind of something. Creative redundancy. Let me tell you, stay away from Goodwill as far as used candles. I used to go there looking for used candles so we could burn them up and then use them. We've probably got, I don't know how many of those we have, 4 or 5. So I like to get used candles and burn them down. But I found out Goodwill has a policy. It's $4.25 for a used candle, whether it's a big one or that much left, or it's a tea candle. If it doesn't matter, they have this list, and that's the price. That's what they're going to charge. So I go to another place and to buy my used candles. Okay, so next we're going to talk about flashlights or area lights. I got this one at, I'm not sure. I either got it at Academy Sports or I got it at Bass Pro Shop. But this is an area thing that runs off of batteries down at the bottom. So you have to make sure you have a way of recharging your batteries if you want to use that. We have two of those, one for the living room, one for the dining room. I have all kinds of, here's one. This is a crank combination of emergency radio, solar power. Got to have batteries in it. You can crank it, and it's got a flashlight on this end. So that gives you a crank-powered flashlight if you want that. Let me see what else. Gosh, okay. Now we're going to get into flashlights. This used to be my number one provider of flashlights. This is a Nebo slide. So it gives you different, you can screw down and you can get a very tight, long range or a very broad, short range. This is another Nebo. The nice thing about this one is it has this little clip there, so it fits on the bill of your cap if you're wearing a baseball cap. And then, you've got it goes up on top and you put it on there and you can control it with the button, as far as what you want to do for light. It has 3 power settings. So it's a nice, and the other nice thing about this is it's USB rechargeable. Okay. So you don't have to worry about batteries. This is what turned me off to the company. I liked this flashlight so much that I bought about a half dozen of them. And I would open it up and it had a problem with the on off switch. What I like about this flashlight is the bottom is magnetic, so you can put it on something and basically shine it in an area. Oh, I should have brought those lights in from my ham shack. I've got some really nice Nebo lights in my ham shack. You can actually aim the light any direction you want. It's got 3 power settings too. So that's how I power my radios and everything, or that's how I light my radios and everything in my ham shack. Was having a problem with the on-off switches on these. Asked Nebo for replacements. They were straight out of the box, even though the box was like 2 years old. They said, well, we want the receipt. Wouldn't give me a refund or exchange because they were 2 years old when I started using them. So don't stockpile flashlights, USB rechargeable flashlights for the Holocaust, because if you have problems with them before the Holocaust, they aren't going to refund your money. I also have, this is what I think is going to be my main flashlight in a post-SHTF world, is going to be a headlamp, whether it be Nebo. Nebo is rechargeable. This is a through night. This is the one I use around the house right now. And it's through night. And so you can just adjust it up, down, left, right. It's got 2 power settings. And then, no, it's only got 1. That's right. And, but that, I prefer to have my hands free. So this is what my primary flashlight in a post-apocalyptic world. This is run with a AA battery. So make sure you have a way you're going to recharge your AA batteries. I have switched over from Nebo to my new favorite flashlight. This one I just got in the mail. I spent $6 on it. One of those advertisements, and so I don't know what it is, how it is, or anything else, but it's USB rechargeable. I like that. So that'll be great. So my new favorite flashlight is the O-Light. Now this is expensive. This is the Arcfeld, which is my favorite. Small handheld, has a pocket clip so you can keep it with you at all times. It's USB rechargeable. I love it, absolutely love it. It's got a laser pointer on it too. Let me see if I can get that to. Well, I'm going to have to do it behind me. There we go. You can see the laser pointer. Okay. And then it's also got the flashlight. Then this is another O-Light. Okay. I like this compact size. Do I have a battery in it? This one's battery operated. So what I recommend is don't store batteries. And as a matter of fact, I'll take this battery out here in just a couple minutes. Don't store batteries in your flashlights. I had a real nice one they called the Bat Light, and it was like a weapon. And I left my batteries in it and didn't use it, and it got all crusty on the inside, so I got to clean that out. Okay, some other considerations. I have a flashlight that gets attached onto my handheld Pew Pew, and so that's an O light. And then I use Through Night for my longer Pew Pew, and so I keep both of these separate from the Pew Pews themselves. And then you got to have a way to charge them. So if you don't have a whole house solar system, the next best thing is to go with the Gold Nomad. And so this you can basically hang on the back of your backpack and as you're walking, or you can set it out in the yard, whatever you want to do. And let me get it opened up here. So it sets up, and you got 2 panels. And you can charge your, you can if you hang this on the back of your backpack, you can charge it, get you charged up and everything else. And then here you have your charging plugs, so built into it. So that's great. It's a great little thing. I have another one I can't find. I have torn the house apart. I went out to the truck. I thought maybe I had it in my get home bag. But it's not there. I just can't find it. But I'll show it to you. I ordered another one because I'm going to recommend you get one that's on sale, spring sale with Amazon. Another charger for the solar panels here. Put all that back in the box. Okay, so I'll catch up with chat and see what all we got. Then I'll show you a whole bunch of stuff I've got set up in Amazon to show you other things. Some of them I have shown you. Solar lights, yeah, for the yard that you charge, and yes, absolutely. The only thing I don't like is I haven't found any that are on off. You charge them during the daytime, and then when the sun goes down, then they start discharging. So I don't know how to turn those off. Hello, Hats. Good evening. Welcome. Good to see you. Let me see. Okay, and Tuck by V1. Good evening. Welcome. Good to see you. So let me see if I can share screen. And I want to go to Amazon. Oh, I wanted to tell you about this one. This is a sale that's on Amazon right now. Okay, this is a sale on Amazon right now. Look at this. It's 44% off. And this is a 5-year supply, or it's good for 5 years, in a number 10 can of 13 different varieties of seeds for a total weight of 1 pan. Oh, wow. Patty's Garden. Thank you for that information. I did not know that. So Patty says that a lot of the outside solar things have on-off switches. I was unaware of that. Thank you for that information. So I recommend you get one of these. This is on Algerson Farms vegetable garden seeds spring sale. Great. Okay. Now, next one I want to show you is this is the small solar system that I can't find. And so how much? Because it's on sale, 15% off here. So it's 15% off. And so because it's 15% off, I went ahead and ordered another one. I'll get a second one tomorrow. Both of mine are orange, by the way. I had this when I did the lighting video a year back. I had the same thing, and I said, I'm going to put this where I can't lose it. And guess what? Guess what always happens when you put something where you can't lose it. Anyhow, this has 27 amp hours, which is a massive capacity. So 27 milliamp hours, 27,000 milliamp hours is 27 amp hours. And so that's got a 3.0 fast charge amp, 5 outputs and 2 inputs. So you can charge this from something other than solar if you want to. But that's just a great deal. The link is down in the, so let's go with the next one. Finding all these good deals. Here's the more expensive of the 2 candle making kits. So yes, I have this one, warmer, so that it safely heats the wax up to a maximum temperature and it won't burn it or anything else. You do have some candle making supplies down here. This is so you center the wicks right here, and then you see the wicks going off to the right. Now, make sure you're pairing your wick with your type of wax. So here it says it's got 5 pounds of wax, and I have a feeling. So the kit that I have, that I purchased, is different from this. But when I did a search on past purchases, this is what came up because it's no longer made. Okay, so that's back to here. And we'll go to the next kit. This is the kit that if you just want something so you can back up, then this is the one I'm going to strongly recommend. So this one does not have the warmer, okay? And it does not. So if you're going to remake old candles into new candles, get this kit, okay? And this kit has some jars that you can make candles with, some wicks. These are some, think of them as 2-sided tape that you're going to put down in the bottom of your jar, whatever you're going to use for a candle. And then this, the base, sticks to this while the other side of this sticks to the jar. Then here's your centering tools. You've got a stir, you've got your melting pot. And so this is on sale prime right now, $12 for this entire kit. So you've got everything you need. Just start saving the wax from your other candles and you're ready to go. Okay, next one. Okay, this is the mason jar tabletop torch. So it just gives you an idea. I showed you my little bitty brown box. Okay, but anyhow, so you take a mason jar, but that's not included in the kit. All you're getting is the 4 lids, the 4 wicks, and then the 4 bases for those wicks. So these go down in the bottom to keep it centered. This goes on the top, screws on the top. Your wick goes inside this and through this. And then you just put your oil or your other combustible item down inside the jar. And that gives you your emergency candle. I think that's pretty much it. Let me see. Oh, no. Here we go. That's for tomorrow night. Oh, so here is the Firehand galvanized steel storm lantern. Okay. I just ordered and let me see what else I have here. Of course, I say when you do that, you also need to have wicks and you need to have oil. So this is the ultra pure lamplight oil. I just ordered 2 more of those today. And then I ordered more wicks. Okay. So that's pretty much it. Let me get out of all these Amazon tabs. Okay. That's it. So that's all the lighting we've got. Next week, we're going to try to do water, food, and storage and get caught up. So let me check here and see what we've got. So, I wouldn't have any lights outside either. Without power, they're going to be seen miles and miles and miles, and you'll attract all kinds of people, and most likely the kind of people you don't want to attract. That's why I have the blackout curtains, so nobody will see any light coming from my house. They'll think that we are going to be just, totally dark. Um, all right. This is not like um, StreamYard where I can click on a comment and it shows up. I can't do that. So I'm just doing straight YouTube. But Theoxerus had a fantastic comment that he used an old coffee percolator, camp coffee percolator, and that's what he melts his wax in. Hatch says that candles are fun. Yes, they are. You can get colors, you can get scents, you can get all kinds of things. I'm One of the things that's going to be intriguing is these are all Yankee candles. Okay, so different scents, winter scents, winter, holly, and oh gosh, sea breeze, and all these different scents of Yankee candles. So I imagine it's going to have quite an odor when I melt those and rekindle those. So it's going to have a wonderful odor, I'm sure. Uh, yeah, one of the best ways, Tammy, and I used to do it this way all the time. Now that I have that pot from that one kit, or the electric warmer from that one kit that keeps it at a safe temperature, um, I used to double boil all of my wax. So I'd put water, and then I put another pot, and I put my wax inside the boiling water instead of having it directly with the flame. Because if you get it too hot, especially with an uncontrollable flame, then basically the wax will ignite, and you don't want that to happen. Although all you need is a small piece of metal to cover the top and suffocate it, and you can stop the fire. Um, All right. So we are at 43 minutes, and we got that much pretty well covered. Don't forget your fire extinguisher. Don't forget your um, carbon monoxide detector anytime you're burning anything in the house. And are there any other electric things? Let me see. Let me look around me, see what I got. See if I've discussed everything I wanted to discuss with you. Da, da, da. Okay, everything's been talked about. Uh, Through Night makes good flashlights. Um, Olight makes great flashlights. Um, I would say just, if you see flashlights on sale at Sam's, at Walmart, at Costco, anywhere like that, Duracell flashlights or anything like that, just go ahead and buy them. They come with the batteries. Just keep it, that entire packet safe and somewhere so that you don't corrode the batteries inside the flashlight. And then when you need a flashlight, you'll have them. Okay. Um, okay. For those of you who don't know, Creative Redundancy, thank you very much. That is absolutely wonderful. You added that. I appreciate it. And she says, do not leave candles lit unattended. Absolutely correct. That's, was the second most common cause of fires in the home pre 1940-ish. The number one cause was the cooking hearth or fireplace, and number two was candles. So you're absolutely correct. I grew up with one of these. So my grandmother, when I went to visit her, she had pumped water, a hand pump for water in the kitchen. And so we had to hand pump our own water. It tasted totally different from what I had, very minerally. She did not have any electricity at all, so we played cards at night with an oil lantern. And no, I didn't. I didn't forget your mail, creative redundancy. I hope I haven't been gender specific tonight. Oh, maybe I did. Maybe I did. I said she made it. Yeah, you're right. Thank you. I'm sorry. I apologize. But anyhow, so I grew up with lanterns in the house. She didn't use candles. She did use lanterns. But yeah, and then we had a 2-hole outhouse too. So I know all about that. So I'm old enough to where those were the common things when I was growing up out on farms and places like that, because they hadn't yet run. And to get power out to some of the farms, and that's still the way with co-ops, is you have to pay from the power source, which is, maybe it's at the street or whatever. You have to pay for the poles, the implantation of the poles, the line, and everything else, transformer, to get that power from the distribution line to your home. So, a lot of people don't have power, or did not have power when I was younger, because of the cost of getting it to their home, even though it's greatly reduced because the co-op was doing the cost of the distribution. But anyhow, that's how it goes. Let me see. So somebody said they got a flashlight from Oops. Yeah. What brand is that tucked by view on? Do you know? Is it Oops, their own brand? From what I understand, they make fantastic solar systems. Yeah, so my grandma taught me war, parcheesi, dominoes, uh, backgammon, and she taught me the principles of bridge, but we couldn't play it because there was just 2 of us. Then my aunt taught me how to play pinochle, gin, spades, hearts. Yeah. Tammy says she still had an outhouse when she was younger. So I'm going to ask a question here. Let me click on here and see if I can see it. I can't see it, but anyhow, I'll check on it. Hats is new, and today I left the hospital and stopped by Walmart and got some things at Walmart. So I was going to the truck, and there was this nice lady, and she had on a wonderful T-shirt. It was the Gonzalez T-shirt. It said, "Come and take it." I think I started telling the story earlier, and I told her I liked her T-shirt, and then we started talking. I said, "Well, are you into preparedness?" She said, "Yes, a little." And I said, "Okay, well, I have a live tonight." She looked it up on her cell phone and said, "Oh, in 6 hours." So I'm hoping that Katz is probably that lady that I met in the Walmart parking lot today. Holly plays dominoes too. Yeah. And I was teaching my 6-year-old grandson how to play chess. And so he's getting pretty good at it at 6 years old. I'm very, very impressed. And then my 4-year-old grandson and I play checkers, although his favorite thing is to play Candy Crush on Grandpa's cell phone. So, that's, man, I tell you, dominoes, the problem, Holly, is I need unbreakable dominoes, because I don't know. When somebody's pointing, they slap those dominoes hard on the table. Have to have an unbreakable table and an unbreakable domino. That's for sure. Gosh, is there anything else I have? No. So let's talk about the news. Let's talk about why I think you need to make sure that you're all prepped up. So I have received information, and I'm sure that a lot of you have received information as well. Oh, hats. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for being here anyhow. We greatly appreciate you being here. Um, where was I going? Oh, we received information that it looks like ISIS-K is going to target hospitals sometime over the course of the next 3 weeks, this week and two more. So hopefully it'll be after my surgery that's scheduled for April 16th, which happens to be a Wednesday, by the way. So that night we will not have our live, will not have a book discussion. But anyhow, I'll be in the hospital overnight. And so be aware of that. Sarah Adams and Sean Ryan and Colonel Scott Mann. Colonel Scott Mann are predicting that there's going to be massive, what they call a transition from terrorism to horrorism. And there are going to be massive number of Al Qaeda and ISIS-K attacks that they think are going to be happening over the course of up through the middle of April. So that's very possible. Of course, as we see, things are exacerbating in Yemen, and so the U.S. is continuing for the 10th day now. We're striking Yemen, and the Saudis, not the, I'm sorry, the Iranians have basically said knock it off or else. So they're kind of giving us an ultimatum, and we're not responding to that ultimatum. Israel has joined in on the fray. That makes things very iffy. And of course, they are continuing their thing in Gaza and in the Gaza Strip, as well as Hezbollah. Wow, Utah Mike, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. I wonder how we could do that. Let me look into that. Maybe we might be able to have that done. We might be able to get that done. Thank you for recommending that. I will check into it. Oh wow, Holly, I wish him the best. Uh, okay. So be aware of that. That they anticipate a whole bunch of attacks. Of course, we've got the mostly peaceful Elon haters still doing their things, fire bombs, bombing, burning, all that kinds of stuff. Um, and so you need to be aware of that. It looks like things are going to calm down a little bit in the European war. It appears that we do have a partial ceasefire. At least they've decided not to go against each other's uh, infrastructure, and they've decided not to go against each other in the Black Sea. So that's good news. We're getting somewhere with that. France says that they will defend Greenland if the U.S. tries to take it. So France is threatening us with nuclear warfare. Then the Chinese, their economy is going to pot like ours is, and so they need to either make a move or not. They're about ready to lose everything they have in Mexico. Uh, President and the president of Mexico have been talking, and he's basically given them an ultimatum: either side with the U.S. or side with China. Because basically what's happening right now is a lot of Chinese products are bypassing the tariffs by being sent raw materials or raw components, component-wise, into Mexico. Then Mexico assembles it and sells it to the U.S. as Chinese, as being Mexican-made, assembled in Mexico, hecho en Mexico. So the U.S. knows that that's going on, and we told them stop that. Because we aren't going to take it anymore, or else we'll put a big tariff on it. So now Calderon and Trump are having discussions and probably going back to something like the maquiladores we had back under NAFTA, which as long as it's free trade both ways, that's a good deal. Same thing with Panama Canal. The Chinese were building military bases on each end of the Panama Canal. So the U.S. has told the Panama Canal that part of that sales agreement was that we could take it back if we felt threatened to our national interest and our national security interest, and we do. So we can take back possession of the Panama Canal. And we said, well, we won't do that as long as you kick the Chinese out. So, that's that. Now, don't forget that it's been estimated somewhere over 20,000 Chinese have come into the United States across the southern border over the last 4 years. These are military-aged men, fit, well-dressed, not dirty, bussed so they could cross the border in California. So we have approximately 20,000 Chinese or more, what appear to be soldiers inside the U.S. I used to think that Red Dawn was virtually impossible because the Soviets and the Chinese did not have the transport capability of getting anybody into the U.S. They would have to go through the Pacific Rim and our Pacific partners, or they would have to cross the Gulf of Mexico or the Atlantic Ocean. They would have to survive our air defenses. They would have to survive our Navy. I didn't think that was possible. But if they have 20,000 soldiers already inside the United States, anything's possible. So, and I think that's one of the great things about books like this. When the prologue to this book is basically how we get into this mess. And it's just one nuclear bomb. It's one nuclear bomb put in a sailboat and sailed from the Philippines and then exploded in Los Angeles Harbor. That's all it takes. So we'll talk a little bit more about the possibilities of nuclear warfare tomorrow night when we talk about that book and some of the things that are going to happen. So Tuck by View one's trying to get some dental work done. So I spent $60,000 on my dental work. So they pulled 17 teeth, the 17 I had left, all at one time, and then drilled in 4. So I have 4 posts up top, and I have 4 posts down below. And this is all porcelain. So, and I think that was about $60,000 plus $20,000 to the oral surgeon. So $60,000 to the what do you call them, prosthodontist, and then $20,000 to the oral surgeon to pull the 17 teeth and drill the holes, put the little posts in there that they screw these teeth into. Okay, so we're right at an hour. So let's get this thing done. We will see you tomorrow night at 8:00. We'll talk about Ross and Kirkman's book, and I'm reading their book 2. Continues to be just as good as book 1. As a matter of fact, I might even have a little bit of preference towards their second book. So we shall see. I'm only halfway through it so far. The book of Numbers, chapter 6, verses 24, 25, 26. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord let his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord look upon you kindly and give you peace. Next week, we'll do chapters 6 and 7. That's water, storage and purification, food, and cooking. So we hope to get all that done in 1 hour. So remember that we're all in this together so we can come out the other side together. Please be kind, polite, and respectful to each other because togetherness is the key. Take care, everybody. Stay safe. If you're looking for me on Facebook, for some reason, I'm temporarily blocked. They say I was going too fast. And so I don't know what that means, but I'm temporarily blocked on Facebook. So don't even look for me. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.